Hey folks, welcome to the Nuts and Bolts of Pool. This is your lesson. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, big thumbs up. This lesson is about the bridge. So let's get into it. So basically, there's many types of bridges, each of which serves its own purpose. However, the main function of the bridge is to lock your cue stick into position to minimize unnecessary sideways movement. The closed bridge and the open bridge, those are your two main bridges that we're going to learn, okay, along with additional bridges to help. So the closed bridge, it's widely used by many people because of the way the cue stick is wrapped around the fingers. This type of bridge has a few advantages over a bridge, like an open bridge, for example. The first, it prevents unnecessary sideways movement in the cue stick, thus preventing miscues. It's also better for power strokes where you draw the cue as far back as possible. Using a closed bridge allows more control over the movement of your cue stick, right? So an open bridge, for example, it's widely used by newer players, mostly because it's easier to set up your hand as an open bridge than a closed bridge, for example. This type of bridge is useful for soft shots and follow shots. So basically, let's get into it. So how do you set up an open bridge, for example? Well, the first thing you do is you lay your hand flat on the table, okay? It's got to be flat on the table. Then next, you're going to curl your hand upwards, okay? So you got to form a peak like this, all right? Next, you move your thumb close to the gap between your pointing finger, which is this one, and create a placeholder for the cue stick. So you got to put it together like this, all right? Nice and secure, press into it. Last, you spread your fingers of the fingers, like say like the middle finger, right? Your ring finger, and your small finger. So you got to move these away, okay, just to stabilize the bridge hand. Make sure that your hand is planted firmly on the table. So it's got to be firm on the table, okay? So that's about it for the open bridge. It's pretty easy. You see how it just like is right there. You spread these fingers apart, these three fingers, these two fingers right here. Your pointer and your thumb, you just press them firmly. The other three fingers here are spread like so. And that is the open bridge, just like that. Just like this. Okay, so that's the open bridge, all right? Now, what do you say? Well, what about there's a lot of different ways to do it, right? So that's basically how you should do it. You should press them together. And the best thing, you can even tuck these in if you want to stabilize it. If you have a problem spreading, like say these three fingers here for the open bridge, you can tuck these two in, right? Your middle finger and your ring finger, put them in, and then just keep these two fingers planted and spread your pinky. And that's a pretty good base, like this, okay? So these two fingers tuck under, and same thing. There's your bridge, just like that, okay? So that's the open bridge. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can do, let's say, a closed bridge, for example. How do you do a closed bridge, right? So to set that up, the first thing you're going to do is you got to make a fist, right? So you make a fist and you lay it flat on the table like this, right? So you got the fist, it's flat on the table like that. Now, next you open up the pointing finger, which is this one, and your thumb, okay? Next, what you want to do is you want to join the tip of your pointing finger and your thumb to create an enclosed area, right? So what you do is this finger, your thumb, connect them, okay? So you connect them to make an enclosed area for the stick. All right. Next, you open up the rest of your unused fingers and you spread them to make sure the bridge of your hand is stable, right? It's the same way that you do like the open bridge where you spread them out. So, can you see this? Can you see that? So you keep this closed, these two fingers closed. You're spreading these fingers out like this. So, I mean, you just put it and you tuck these two fingers in against your middle finger here, right? So you tuck it in like this, just like that. Here it is, for example, just like that. There's your closed bridge, just like that, okay? Keep it firm, make sure it's not loose, where it's all moving around, you know. You don't want a huge hole. You don't want it like this. See, that's just too much room in there. See, it can move all around in there. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you're pushing with these fingers here and you're firmly against the stick, okay? And that's how you make the closed bridge. Nice and secure, okay? So that's how you do the closed bridge. And it's same thing as the open bridge, but you're making an enclosed area for the cue stick to go into instead of having it like this on top of your thumb. It goes in. You basically are wrapping your finger around the stick and pushing in, okay? So that's the closed bridge, all right? So, I mean, basically, there's a few other bridges. For example, you say, well, okay, well, now you're doing bridges on the playing surface. So what other types of bridges are there? Well, there's a rail bridge. Now, the rail bridge, for example, is like, they're used whenever the cue stick is like too close to the rail, for example, all right? And it's, and you're doing any of the normal bridges, like an open bridge, right? Or the closed bridge. I mean, that would make it almost impossible. So this type of bridge, you simply lay the cue stick over the rail and use your fingers to stabilize it. These are the different types of rail bridges that you can learn. I'll show you how you do it. As you play, there's like, let's see if you can see it. So a good one is you put the cue stick up against your thumb, right? So let's say you got a ball, okay? Here's a ball. Put the cue stick, just for the easiest way to do it. Cue stick up against the thumb, right? And you take your finger like the closed bridge and you loop it around, right? And you grab a hold of the rail. And some people like to grab the rail with these three fingers. They like to grab it like this. You can do that. Or most important thing is you got to make sure that the cue stick between this finger and this finger are touching along with the thumb. So let's just do this. Pay attention to these three fingers. So you got the thumb, put your finger over the thumb like this, over that stick, and just grab it like that and make sure it's tight. Let's move this back. That's probably the easiest way to make a closed bridge on the rail. It's very secure. You can grip with your fingers if you want, if that makes it any better, right? So that's basically the closed bridge on the rail. You can come back in here and do the same thing, just like that. Or if you're a little farther back, you can take your middle finger, your ring finger, you can tuck them against the outside of the rail here, along the wood or whatever you have on the outside, and do like the old like the horns, you know, Texas Longhorn type thing, right? So you do that, put your finger over like that, and just make sure your knuckle is touching this part of the cue, all right? So just like this. And you can keep it nice and flat, and that's how you do the closed bridge from a distance, just like that, right? All right, now you say, well, what about the open bridge, for example, right? So you could put your hand on the table here, all right? Put your hand flat on the table, right here along the rail. You put your stick right up in here, between the crotch of your thumb and your pointer finger, just like this. But make sure the cue is touching this finger, your pointer finger, right? You just want to cradle it right in there. And that's how you do, let's say the ball's here. That's how you do the open bridge. And let it sit on the rail, okay? You don't need to keep it up off the rail. There's no reason to have this up off the rail and try to shoot an open bridge, right? So you just do this, and that's how you do the open bridge, right? Now, sometimes it's important that you got to do like a variation of it where your hand can't be perfectly on here because of certain situations. So let's say you're like, you got to jack up, right? Or like an elevated bridge, for example. So let's use this, okay? So, I mean, there's a variation sometimes that you have to do. It's normally used, you use this type of bridge when there's another ball obstructing the cue ball, for example, like this. The 7, I mean, you couldn't shoot it off the rail here, right, and hit that cue ball because the 7's in the way. So what do? Well, that's where you use the elevated bridge. I mean, it's important that you stabilize your base of your cue stick when you balance your hand. You know, it's a combination. So the way I do it is I take my hand like this, and I put it straight down behind the ball. See how it's right like that? You're pointing it down. Now, I take these two fingers, I take my middle finger and the ring finger, and I make it like they're legs, for example, like two little legs. I put it like that, and I spread them out, almost like you're doing the old Spock move, right? So you spread these out just like that, and you put the cue between your thumb and this finger here. And you just do the old, spread it out like that and put it just like that. And then you see how it's over the ball and you can hit the cue ball just like that. So like I spread them out, these two fingers. Sometimes I tuck the middle finger back here a little bit, right? So just like this, see? Or I tuck the ring finger sometimes too. Just bend it back just a little bit to kind of get yourself almost like this. These two fingers here and the middle finger down. So it's almost like a tripod. You're creating a tripod to bridge over this ball. So that's basically an open bridge, okay, over a ball in this situation. So that's one of the special bridges. The other type of one I would say is, let's say, I mean, you have some other situations where you got to use a mechanical bridge, for example. Now, this is a mechanical bridge here, right? It has a thing right on the end of the stick, or it could come automatically with the pool table if you're at a pool hall. So it sits on the table, it balances itself automatically, okay? It automatically balances itself. It will sit perfectly. There's no reason to try to hold it up off the table or anything. Just let it sit there. So, I mean, this is basically used, it's normally used like as the last resort whenever it's like virtually impossible for you to use another type of bridge. Mechanical bridge is normally used for shots that are too far away from you to reach. It serves as like the extension of your arm. So let's say, for example, like in that other one where you're elevated and you're far away from a shot, right? So this thing has all kinds of, let's see if you can see it, has all kinds of little different holes that the stick fits into. You can turn it on its side like this, either side, or you can flip it over like this. And the stick fits right in here. And the stick it just moves back and forth. You can go flip it on the side like that. This is the mechanical bridge. So, for example, let's say you're shooting the shot here, and there's another ball, right? It's like you're kind of in the way like this. You can see that, if that makes any sense, right? So here's the cue ball, here's the 7, and you have a hard time. Maybe it's too far away, and you can't really reach over, the shot, because you're at a distance. So what you would do is you would place this. You could either go from behind the 7 ball here and hit the cue ball into this 10 ball here. So you would bridge right over it like this, place this nice and secure on the table, and there's your shot, right? Or you could do it like this. You can place it down like this and shoot at the highest point of this bridge. You want to go over to see that if you can clear the ball. If you can't clear the ball, it may not clear this ball right here. Okay, that's where you have to flip it over to this side. Or, for example, you don't have to put this behind an object ball. You could put it in front of the object ball to reach the cue ball. So you could put it like this, and look, you have full range of this cue ball to hit this 10 ball. See? Boop, I hit it. So anyways, let's do a review. So those are like your different bridge types. So like I said, you got the open bridge where these 2 fingers are together and your thumbs up and you're spreading these 3. That's your open bridge, okay? This is your open bridge, just like this, okay? You can tuck these in. That's your open bridge. Closed bridge, like I said, you make the enclosed loop just like that, nice and tuck it in really nice against that middle finger, and that's your closed bridge, just like this, okay? And then you have your special bridges. So, folks, that's the nuts and bolts to pull, okay? Big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and that's your lesson on bridges. So, thank you very much for watching the channel, and we'll see you soon. Remember, nuts and bolts to pull.